not, but okay.
Who cares? Okay.
Liberals.
All right. So we are business people. We are trying to do all of these things. Personally, I would sit there and say my main goal right now is to try is innovative, trying to find an innovative way to do business because everybody's doing the same thing within the industry that my business is in. It works. It definitely works, especially for some people because they're making a lot of money. Well, I shouldn't say making a lot of money. Their business is making a lot of money comparatively speaking, but they themselves are probably walking away and not making a ton of money, if that makes sense. Just enough to, live a very nice life. Does that make sense for everybody?
No,
How about you?
no, it
What
doesn't.
are you?
No, no, I don't understand at all. Why would somebody want to make a living?
Ooh,
You have the government. Biden will take care of you. Okay,
universal.
so let's work on plan B in case Biden decides not to take care of us, like we're in Hawaii and there's a fire.
There is a fire. Wait, is there a fire?
There may be again. I
Damn.
hope not. Poor bastards only got like $700 from the last time they got burned up.
It's true.
Right?
Uh,
Okay, well, that's
oh
okay. That's
my
because Bill
gosh.
wanted their land. All right, so I
Uh,
wonder how much of I said today is ever going to get out in public.
we'll see. Probably all of everything that you said right now, but because it's not like horrendous. The other
Oh,
stuff.
the other stuff, yeah, it was ugly.
Ooh,
All right, so ignoring all the other stuff I said, the book is broken down into I think a few parts,
four
and I
sections.
want to 4 or 5 sections. I'm going to break
Yeah.
it down a little
So
bit further in my mind.
yeah. Oh, the main sections are building blocks, patterns,
Yep,
uh, design,
design.
strategy, and then just putting it all together as a process.
Yep, yeah, and then dealing with the market forces and all that. The probably the last part is the best, but it's going to strategy they call it. Um, but we'll see. The I don't want to originally I kind of wanted to skip through it, but I want to go through it kind of more casually
I think casually is
because
a
I
good
think
idea.
it's a good idea on this one. It's not like I mean, come on, if we can go through Chris Voss in three
Detail.
books, 3 calls, we can do this one.
Oh no, we did Chris Voss in like 5 or 6.
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? Um, okay, so I love Chris Voss. Get over it. Um,
Yeah, you're
right.
kind of.
I'm a fanboy.
Yeah, you
Can't
are.
help it. Can't help it.
Stop
I like
fanboying,
him.
Phil.
Right. So, anybody that says the best way to negotiate is just to say no, I'm such a fan of.
I can
But
appreciate that.
you're right. I'd never got in trouble for saying no, right? It's saved my marriage many times. It's saved me lots of hours. And, the only time I've ever gotten in trouble is when I said yes.
Meh.
Except for one time at the wedding, right? That was probably the only yes that was ever worth it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna break it down into understanding the structure that he has with the 9 building blocks, explaining that, and then my opinion is to go through and he talks about patterns. Patterns is a big section. I think it should be broken down kind of into 3 sections. Understanding different business types, understanding so like there's bundle unbundling, there is long tail, and then there's the free models, and then there it gets into platforms and other kinds of business models, and I think they're very
Right.
different kind of industries than very different mindsets, right?
Yep.
So I consider those 2 sections in a big way. Then we go into design, and design's a big section, but design covers storytelling, it
A
covers
lot.
ideation. It's a huge section. It is a big section of thinking visually, right? So I think it's really like at least 3 sections by itself.
Yep.
And guys, I'm saying all this from a huge place of ignorance because I haven't gone through their training and I'm sure I understand everything better then. So from a guy that's ignorant, I'm going to go through that uh and separately. Then the oh, so many beautiful notes. Okay, guys, we'll get to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Hang
the
on for the ride. It's really it is good. I just reading this ended up like really gets the juices flowing and gets you thinking about, hey, what is the business that I'm trying to create? What am I trying to do? And then it helps to really focus in the activities that you need to
Mhm.
do. So part of the reason why I say that is what can happen when you're starting a business and you start going in without a real plan, especially if you're trying to do it publicly, and on social media, you can sit there and get pulled into, this is what all of these other people are doing, I need to do that too, and not realize that what they are doing actually doesn't fit in with your business model or with how your business is works and
You
everything.
cannot take a influencer and say, "I'm gonna do business the way they say,"
Yeah. Yes.
without
Yep.
saying, "I'm willing to become an influencer."
Yes. There is, so and one of the annoying parts about it is that it's like within that influencer view is like, yeah, there is an aspect of some of that like you need there's little pieces and stuff that you can take away from it, but the problem is if you start following the influencer model and you start like really trying uh, to do that, you're going to end up creating a business that you didn't intend to create, that may not be appropriate for what you are trying to do.
Make Yeah, exactly. I'm going to say what you said. Just I would say,
Go
if
for
you're
it.
going to copy somebody else's business model, make sure you're in love with that damn business model.
Exactly.
Know what it's
Exactly.
going to cost. Know how it's going to take over your life. Know what
Yep.
piece of soul you had to give up to get
Yes.
that little piece of attention.
Yep.
Right? Know what
Absolutely.
it's going to cost, see what it is, and don't look at just the glamour, right? Because we all know I'm glamorous and Alan is smart, right? So decide what you want to be in there and
Yep.
what you can give up from yourself, right?
Yep.
Before you go down that chain, and just know what's involved. I think it's fair.
Yep, I agree with that all 100% because it's too easy. All right, let's get going.
Yeah, baby. All
We've
right,
said
so
our piece.
9 building blocks. Okay, I'm going to go through them super quick, and then I think we should go through kind of individually.
Yep.
Um, there's
I
nine
like it.
building blocks. One is, actually, can we show? I'm going to show this, right? So here's the pretty version.
Yeah, you should. That's hold it up. There you go. Perfect.
Thank you, thank you. I can't see. So there's a pretty version of it. It all flows together. And let me show you the version that you're going to kind of play with later on, right?
That you need to play with, the one that you need to
Oh,
memorize, basically.
yeah. I was about to show this. You know what's missing in this picture?
What?
The icons. The
Oh yeah.
icons help explain the story, right? So we're going to kind of get into that.
Yep, I agree.
Um, because
And
when you're
see,
looking at it, it really makes it pulls it together, right? So the
there
whole
you
root of this
go.
book is, there's two parts, there's a couple parts of your brains. One is words, and the other is how you represent things visually. You
Yep.
can start with the whole words, with what you put on a post-it, like 3 words or a little tiny drawing, but then to solve complex problems, you want to get into drawing, and there's a process of filling out these key components
Yeah.
and taking those um, the little post-it cards and creating visuals that represent things meaningfully, and not as a whole chart, but you get to doing individually presentations on each image that you put in here, not just each category, but every post-it that you make should have a separate
Yep.
visualization if it has value. If it doesn't have value, you don't show it off because you're wasting everybody's time.
Yep. And Phil's talking about physical post-it notes and stuff.
Miro board, whatever.
These things. There's a lot of ways you can do it. You can do it digitally. There are some good digital products out there for which you can do this, especially if you are remote. However, so
What do you use?
the tool doesn't necessarily matter as much as the canvas that they have created. So, what are the nine building blocks?
Okay. Hmm.
And
CS is
some of these should be obvious if you've ever really tried to start a business.
they're all obvious, but breaking it down is super helpful, and that's what we're going to try to do here. in this
Yep.
call if we have time, and I stop bullshitting and wasting
Ha.
audience time. Okay, first one, customer segments.
Yep.
An organization serves one or several customer segments, knowing what they
Mhm.
are. Two is VP is value propositions.
Yep.
It seeks to solve customer problems and satisfy customer needs with value propositions. Guys, you communists out there understand value is in every form of work you do. Remember that. Okay. So this is a book for communism. Channels. Okay. Capitalists. Now we're talking about capitalism. Channels. Value propositions are delivered to customers through communication, distribution, and sales channels. Okay. Customer relationships. I don't know what category to put that. We'll put that into the church.
But that's a
Customer
big one.
relationships are
Customer relationships are huge. Keep going.
mm, I think the customer relationship is where you actually present your culture, your value, and your purpose of being in the first place.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
Yep.
it probably doesn't really define that here, but the heart of it is what you're doing for your customer.
There you go. Keep going.
So customer relationships is defined as customer relationships are established and maintained with each customer segment. How many customer segments do you want to have? As few as possible, dear. Believe me.
Please.
Uh Mhm. If you want to have a life, revenue streams. Revenue streams result from value propositions. Why is everything about value in this book? I don't get it. Communist.
Hmm. Hmm.
From value
Hmm.
propositions
Maybe.
successfully offered to customers.
Yep.
Customers again. Customers sound like who wants those? Um, I remember when I was young, it's like the cashier was complaining about having customers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I sympathize with you. I can imagine how happy you'd be if you had sat in the corner with nothing to do,
Yep. Yeah.
right? And I imagine that person would have been very happy, and we could still not understand each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 6 is key resources. Key resources are the assets required to offer and deliver the previously described elements, revenue
Yes.
streams.
Yep.
And key activities. I'm a big fan of activities, right? As it's obvious because I have 3 boys. Key activities by
There you go.
performing a number of key activities. Okay, great. Doesn't explain that much. We'll go through that later. Key partnerships. Some activities are outsourced and some resources are acquired outside the enterprise. It's
Yes.
you know what? I have had the most success when I have opened up and entertained partnerships, but I've also had the most failure from inappropriately creating partnership relationships that have not been in tuned. So
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
interesting. I'm gonna say, guys, everybody go out there, lose a lot of money by making some loosely coordinated partnerships.
No.
Cost structure is the final one. And the business model elements results in cost structure. Okay, no matter what you do, there's costs, right? Even premium models have costs. Well, there it is.
Yep.
All stuff you guys could have never guessed in your entire life. I'm just going to show it off. I love how they don't show it a lot. I love how this shows how things work together and points it out
Yeah.
and flows it. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy this picture because that's the most fun.
Yep.
Okay. All right, customer segments. I'm going to let you run with this one because I have talked way more than I usually do.
Oh man, I love. So this is one that is kind of a like, who do you want to serve? I guess the main.
Everybody,
That's the question that I always ask myself.
like
All right.
Walmart, 20 cents per transaction.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Like who is it that you want to serve? And the thing is, like, there's you could start out with everybody. You really could. But the problem is when you start trying to
No, I
do
think you
that.
start off with everybody, right? You say, okay,
Yep.
I want to serve the world. Now I'm able to serve this. Now I
Yeah.
would like to serve this.
Yep.
Now I don't like these people.
Yeah.
This characteristic kind of
Yeah.
pisses me off, right?
Well, it's. I mean, going down that rabbit hole, it's like a lot of people sit there and they say, okay, well, I want my product helps everybody. Well, no, okay. like you could say that, you could sit there and you could do that, like
It
Amazon.
means I want all the
Amazon's
money in the moon.
Amazon's goal is to serve everybody. And in a lot of ways, it
No,
works
it's
for
not.
them because they are
They
like
don't want
they
to serve the affluent. They don't try.
what?
Amazon does not try to serve the affluent.
Yeah. No, you're good point. They
It tries to serve anybody that wants to help themselves and doesn't care about customer service.
well, their customer service can be pretty good at times. Um
The return policy is great. They will
yeah,
run over their vendors like nothing.
they don't care. Like they
But
just
that's
want to
different than
but
customer service, right?
they don't care about their any whatever. We've got to that's a debate.
Oh yeah. Now that you're getting into supply
That's a
chain,
debate.
you're getting to appreciate what it is to be a provider.
Well, no, I'm not because I don't do that. I try
Okay.
not to. I had one wholesale order and it was a lot of work to get the wholesale order in. I had somebody reach out to me and ask me about doing wholesale, and I
Mhm.
responded back and I'm like, I basically like we can do wholesale, but I don't do certain things. And I said this is the minimum. If you are interested, you need to you need to let me know. And I just left it at that. I'm not pursuing like I offer wholesale, but I am not pursuing wholesale because it is so much work. It is not something that like I personally can do. Um, like I said, you could start out saying, "Oh, I want to serve everybody," but the problem is like you're not. It's not going to be. It's never going to work out. Your product is not for everybody. I mean, there's a reason why like TV shows and stuff, they sit there and they seem like TV shows are for everybody, but the thing is, they have a key demographic. They have a very specific key demographic that they are trying to go after, and a lot of people fall outside of that key demographic. And
Like
so that
even Fox News isn't for everybody. It's not even for
no,
all conservatives. It's really for
no.
liberals pretending to be conservative and looking for
Yeah.
news to make fun of.
Yeah, no, it's very true actually, because that's how they make a ton of money that way. The other part of it is there's so like Seth Godin. This really hit home for me when reading Seth Godin's "This Is Marketing." Is like you can't basically sitting. He goes in there, and I'm probably paraphrasing very bad, poorly. Like your product is not for everybody, and that is okay. If somebody says, I don't want your product, then you need to be okay with that because they have self selected themselves out of their product. And now you know who you are marketing to and who you are selling to. So that's what's going on here is it's like, who are you marketing to? Who are you providing value to? And there's a couple of different things that we can sit there and say. Like there's they break it down into mass markets, niche markets, segmented, diversified, and then multi-sided platforms.
Oh, we're
Honestly,
jumping ahead.
what do you mean?
I feel like we're jumping ahead.
No, they break it in, but like multi-sided platforms, we're not going to. I don't want to touch that right now.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's not
Okay. Yep.
like
Yep.
that is completely different, and that I think introduces a lot of confusion and stuff. The thing is, like, so mass markets are fine. You can try and market to a mass market, but you have to come up with a very generic person to be able to do that.
Yeah, they
Niche
don't distinguish
markets,
between customer segments. The value
yeah,
proposition is
yep.
based off of distribution channels and generally accepted needs.
Well,
If
and
you want to be appreciated for art or something fancy, you're
yeah.
not going to be in the mass market,
Well, and that's
right?
what I was going to get at.
Yeah.
So like
Don't feel like you're going to be an artist and have mass market.
here's a great example. Cell phone covers. Cell phone covers are a phenomenal mass market example. Everybody has a like everybody needs a cell phone cover and everything. They're a
Yep.
phenomenal mass market example because you can create a cell phone cover that serves a lot of people, and you can like modify it just a little bit to make it so that it's desirable for people and for certain segments of the population.
Right. So
But it's huge.
if we take this case and we say we make it solar powered, now
Yes,
we got into a niche market
that's
for environmentalists that can
or
care about whatever.
yep. Or
Stuff to make
as
fun
you
of.
were bringing up and talking about with the art and stuff, there are cell phone cases that are printed with art. and everything.
Yep.
And that becomes the niche market, which is my
Or
market.
custom something exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Woolen or
Yep.
made for kids or
Yep.
with, was it Bejewel? What is that where you used to stick,
I know
shiny
what you
things on?
yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I don't
Bejeweler? I
remember.
can't remember
I
from the
think that's
80s.
what it's called. My market is a niche market. Like it is a very niche market. For
Anybody who's probably listening to us is a niche market, by the way,
That's a good point. Yeah.
right? Mass markets, Walmart, Sam's Club,
Uh,
Netflix.
Amazon. Well, is Netflix? I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say if you look at the diversity in their suicide, movies and, their
Yeah.
creative, cultural
Yep.
Chinese flicks and stuff.
They are Amazon's another phenomenal example of a mass market. Big grocery stores are mass market. Like I would argue that most people these days interact with a mass market or a company whose audience is a mass market. Most
Yeah,
people enter, which
90%,
when you think
99%.
about it makes sense. Like it makes a lot of sense that way. But then like niche market tends to be the people on Etsy or having their own little stuff. Like I said, I'm a niche market. Then there's the segmented market, which is what my day job is associated with. They
Mhm.
bring up
Yep.
the example of banks because they're like when you sit down and you break down a bank's demographic. Okay, here's the thing: 99.9% of the people out there need a bank. Okay, there's a small segment of the population who refuse to have anything to do with the bank. Okay, but the thing is, like, a bank can't be a mass market because there's different needs at different income levels.